So I'd like to introduce the first speaker this evening, who is my lovely friend, Andrew Cain. We met at Comedy Improv, didn't we? Yeah. And he's a fascinating guy with something rather brilliant to tell you. So please put your hands together for Andy Cain.
Thank you. You can tell she doesn't really know what I'm going to say when she says he's going to tell you something brilliant. For this, at one point I'd like you to use your phones. If you could switch your phones on, if they're not already on, that'd be really handy. And what I'd like to do in this talk is to invite you and encourage you to rediscover and make friends with parts of yourself that you might have been rejecting. Maybe the parts of yourself that you don't really like, or parts of yourself that you love, but they feel almost too grand for you to aspire to. Because that can take courage sometimes, doesn't it? Because when we reject something, it's because we fear it. And when we fear it, we tend to overcompensate to make that go away. So for example, if you've rejected at some point your anger, then later on, maybe you're a super, super nice person who spends all their time keeping everybody happy. Or, if at some time you've rejected your boldness and your greatness and your confidence, then maybe you become someone who only feels okay when they're playing small. Or if you've rejected your uncertainty and doubt, then you become a kind of a person who feels like they need to know all the answers all the time and always be in control. And that can cause us problems. Don't you know the Rumi poem, this being human is a guest house. Every day a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Welcome them all. And I know he wrote that poem because he knows that's not what we actually do. When we think about parts of ourselves, I feel like our guest house is often not so much like the one that Rumi's talking about, and more like Fawlty Towers. So there's parts of ourselves that we feel that fit, like, I don't know, maybe good at making cakes, or for me, like good with computers. And when someone says that, we're like, oh yes, come in, sit down, make yourself at home. But then there's parts of ourselves that we don't identify with, that feel different to us, or don't fit, or that we've rejected at some point, like being courageous, or being bold, or being sexy, or being talented. And then when they come in the door, we're more like, excuse me, would you mind awfully not cluttering up the lobby? I'm trying to run a life-having hotel here. You'll find the place for talented people is down the road. So when we try to push them away, but they never fully go. They don't fully leave and go down the road, they just go to the car park and drink by the bins and make noise and disturb us and distract us during our lives. What can be so much more helpful for us is if we can allow them in and make friends with them, and they can become our allies. I've got three, and I've been very much doing that for myself. I've got three sort of things that I've learned along the way. And the first is to recognise that they're there, because they're hard to see. Now, when we're children, we learn who we are. We're born with a whole range of behaviours, and some of them are accepted and encouraged and approved of. We're told, oh yes, good boy, keep doing that. And there's others of them that are not so accepted and not approved of, and they don't fit in the family or the group that we've grown up in, and we're discouraged. So usually, we do more of these and fewer of these, which works, keeps us fitting in. But over time, the mask begins to stick. We begin to believe that we are only those things and not those other things. We build belief systems that we are this and we are not that this is good and that is bad. We start to hang out with people who feel the same way. So if, for example, we feel uncomfortable around anger, we hang out with a load of other people who feel uncomfortable around anger, and we're all really nice to each other all the time. Or if we feel uncomfortable around sadness, then we hang out with people who are really positive all the time and really uplifting, which can get us stuck. And the second thing you can do is to learn to spot and discover where these new lands are. So when Vikings were out discovering new territories and sailing across the oceans, they used to take with them ravens on the boat. And every now and again, when they were out at sea, they would let a raven free. And if it went up and circled around and came back to the boat, then they knew that they were still far at sea and far away from land. If, however, it went up into the sky and then flew off in a set straight direction, they knew the land must be over there and that's where to go. And you can spot the same ravens in your own life. So, for example, who is someone who really gets under your skin? And what is it about them that really annoys you? What that quality is that's annoying for you in them is probably difficult for you to accept in yourself as well. Who is someone who you feel really drawn to and you really admire? And what qualities do they demonstrate? Maybe it's discipline or courage or confidence or flamboyance. That admiration of them can be your own heart calling to develop that same thing in yourself. And another place we can begin to learn where those new territories are is from other people, which is where your phone's coming. So I'd like to send a text message. Would you like to get your phones out? And don't worry about who to send it to right yet. But I'd like you to send the following message. I'm doing an exercise at Inspired Talks. Inspiring Talks. Sorry. I'm doing an exercise at Inspiring Talks. What do you think are my greatest qualities or strengths? Ooh, scary, right? And I'd like you to send that to people you know who are kind and who know you quite well. Oh yeah, message again very quickly. I'm doing an exercise at Inspiring Talks. What would you say are my greatest strengths or qualities? And then send that to a bunch of people. 5 people, 10 people. People who know you, who are going to be kind. And first of all, I'd like you to notice how that's a scary thing, right? Because your ego is going, but what if it doesn't fit with how I think of myself? It can be difficult to accept the qualities that you have that you don't know about. Overwhelmingly, if you choose to send it, you'll find the responses will be very positive and loving and kind. Just occasionally you might find someone says a kind of a jokey, funny thing if they're not very comfortable with being direct. That's their stuff. And just to credit it, it's an exercise I got from Mark Walsh at Integration Training. It'll be a wonderful thing to do. So having mapped those things out, the last thing to do is to establish friendly relations with these new countries that you can discover within yourself. First, be kind to yourself about the things you don't like and the things you do. Those things went underground and you disowned them because of rejection and harshness of criticism. Beating yourself up about them even more is not going to help. They need your love and kindness and compassion. Ask for help if you'd like it. If you find that you think you're rubbish at something, but all your friends and your clients think you're amazing, maybe you're outvoted. And try to repeat to yourself the feedback that you get from them until it goes in and you can accept those extra strengths that you have. And lastly, I'd encourage you to be wary of what I call the dark side of personal development. Ooh. Improving yourself is great, improving your skills is great, as long as it's based on a foundation of self-acceptance, there can be a trap, which I know many of us have probably fallen into, where we think we're developing ourselves. What we're actually doing is getting really, really good at doing the things here that we've told are good, and finding more and more subtle ways to push away the stuff that we don't like. All life has all things in it.
Say that again.
Which bit?
That last part.
The last part, okay. If I'm allowed.
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah, I'm allowed. The dark side of personal development, that
Yeah. Can I just say, you can wait for the recording. I will put it out on the group.
Why wait?
I'm going to tell you.
Do it now.
I'll do it now. No time at the present. It's the using personal development as a way to just find ever more subtle ways of reinforcing your prejudices of the things you think are good and acceptable and okay about you, and more ways to stuff down and push away the things that you don't like. That's the trap. So Debbie Ford says that we sometimes think that to be divine we have to be perfect, but that's a mistake. To be divine, we have to be whole. And that includes the positive sides, the negative sides, the things we like and the things we don't like. And part of doing that is making friends with all those hidden parts of yourself. So, good luck.
Oh, Andy, thank you so much. I know that was a real challenge for you to stay within 10 minutes. It's like a goal for you, wasn't it? Oh. I forgot to mention that Andy's actually a therapist, a hypnotherapist?
That's right,
Yeah, that's right, cool. And can you tell everybody, Andy, how they can find out about you and your social media and all that?
Okay, yeah. If you'd like to say hello, you can write to me at hello@andrewcain.co.uk. My website's the same thing. I'd love to do like a longer session around this kind of thing. If you're interested in that, then send me an email about that and we'll see if we can make it happen.
Thank you, Andy.